My name is Ashley. Welcome to my channel. A little bit about me really quick. I was on YouTube maybe 8 years ago doing a hair channel, and now I'm back trying it out again. But today this video is a life update. It's not so much about what I have going on or had going on. It's about the message. So you guys might want to take some notes, get your pen and pad, or you just want to really come in closely and listen. So as you see in the title of the video, it's called I Hit Rock Bottom. I just gotta pause real quick because I hit rock bottom, or what I felt my version of rock bottom is, right? I grew up in a lot of trauma. I was a foster child from age 5 on and off until age 18. Sometimes I will go with my mom, and sometimes I will go with new families every so often. I come from parents who had some problems on drugs so many years ago, of course, right, when I was younger. And so that was the reasoning for me being in and out of the system. When I would go back with my mom, I would sometimes be homeless or in a shelter or evicted, a whole bunch of things happening, right? And I've also was a victim of abuse. So with all of those things that happened in my childhood life, as I grew up, I thought that I handled them, right? I thought they were done. They didn't bother me. Even as a child, it was something I went to therapy, spoke about, and was just kind of like shrugging it off my shoulders. I didn't feel like it hindered me in no way or it bothered me. Although it did, right? So it made me shy a lot. It made me act out at times, and it also made me very private. Because I felt like if somebody looked at me, they could read my whole life story and everything I was dealing with. So I would like not speak too much about my personal life, right? So I'm giving that background so that when I continue to speak, you guys will understand how it was all like almost full circle. So I went through a lot of traumas, no details. Maybe in another video, I will share more details. But, for this life update sake and the focus of it, I will just share that little bit of background so you could just understand. Basically, I've been a victim of trauma and abuse, right? And so fast forward, not even, let's just go through life a little bit, right? So during my time, having those things happen to me at such a young age, going in and out of basically not having stability, right? Unstable homes and things like that. I found something that God gifted me with was styling hair, right? So my mom wasn't the best at doing hair, but she tried her best, right? And with her trying her best, we were satisfied to the extent that we could be as young kids. But we know that, children are cruel. So we would get teased a lot. Going to school, we would get teased a lot. I don't know if you guys could see me, I got my hat real low. But we would get teased a lot with our hairstyles and stuff until one day I had enough. I was like, I'm going to learn something, okay? Even if like my mom didn't believe we needed relaxers because we had good graded hair. Like it wasn't hard to detangle or hard to manage. She just didn't really know what to do. There were times we went to the salon. There were times that we did get our hair professionally done, but having 3 girls, as a mom, single, trying to make sure all of our needs are met, you don't always have that kind of money to put out for that. So there were times that we didn't. And so I stepped in. I learned, how to style hair by watching on the times we were able to get it done professionally. And then I would go home and practice what I've seen. Because back then, I think we was in the early 2000s. There was no YouTube. There was no video. The phone, I don't even know if the phone text yet or took pictures or anything. So you had to like store it up in your head, in your memory. And that was me. I had the gift of looking and learning. So I'm a visual learner. I love to use my hands. Sitting, having somebody lecture and talk at me. I know I'm doing that to y'all, but it just has me like, OMG, is she done yet? Right? And it's hard for me to retain the way I would like to. Not saying that I don't retain, just the way I would love to grasp it quickly is a little bit harder because I am more of a visual learner. So anyway, by me having that gift, I was able to learn quickly. At age 9, I learned how to style hair. By 13, I had a consistent clientele. Now, why am I telling you guys this? I'm telling you guys this because it's going to also tie into the story that I'm going to present. And also, it was my outlet. It was my therapy, right? So anytime things was going on at my house, you guys know the things I was in and out of that I just shared with you. Here became my therapy. Here became my outlet. So I would be super excited to do my sisters and them here, like writing the names, doing the stars, the circles, the zigzag. I got real creative. I got really deep into my craft, and that helped me to cope with the things going on. I am also the oldest of my mom, so if she's not available, who needs to be available for everybody else, right? This girl right here. And so it forced me to grow up a little bit faster than I wanted to. And that's a gift and it's a blessing, and then it could be a go another way, right? Um, because it preps you for real world stuff. It also allows you to mature a little faster, and then when you have your own family, you kind of have the upper hand on like kind of what to do or how to maneuver in situations that may be challenging. So although at that time being young, I wasn't a fan of it, I am thankful for it now in my adult years. So anyway, I would style my sister's hair like all day long because I'm learning, so I'm super slow. I would style my mom hair, and she became like my, you know, marketing person. She would go everywhere, all over, telling everybody I did her hair. And she brought me in clientele, and I had my little business by the time I was 13. Okay, and so whatever we didn't have at home, that's what I used the money for. Like my sisters needed new shoes or whatever, my mom couldn't get it, or we needed extra groceries. I'm the oldest, I'm making a couple of dollars. Why not help out? So that's what that was for me at that time. I also got me the new latest J's, and I was a little fashion girl. But anywho, that's that background with the hair being my therapy. So fast forward to me hitting rock bottom in 2024. So even before that, in 2019, I had my business for like 9 years at that time, or probably eight, somewhere around 8, 9 years. I had my business as a traveling hairstylist. So I did hair throughout my childhood. I stopped in high school. I went to college. I got degrees. I have up to a master's degree and some certifications. And after my master's, I got back into the field of hair. Shout out to my girl Reese because she told me to get back into it. I got out of it because I was like, okay, I help my family kind of thing. I don't really think it's a good career. Like I need to get a degree so I can get a real good job and what society said was right. So that's what I was focused on. I know better now, but anywho, back then that's what I was focused on. And so, um, you know, I wound up getting back into styling hair, and that's how I had the business for that long. So when I became a mom during the pandemic, which was a very trying time, a lot of businesses closed. We had to do things differently, and being that I was a traveling stylist, while I could have very well traveled, and I would have had I not had my baby, I had to change things up because I didn't want to bring her with me. I didn't have too much reliable support to watch her. And even though my mom was around, I still didn't want to run off with her so small to go do hair. So a lot of my good money started to, plummet a bit because I wasn't able to do the hair the way I used to be able to do the hair. And so I found myself like really a fish out of water, like, oh my God, what to do now? Like trying to keep my head above water, right? Because the very thing that held me for so long and had me thriving and saving and very close to my goals, pay attention to that, very close to my goals, was now sort of taken away from me, right? And I had to figure out another way to keep it going. And that in itself was like an identity crisis, right? Because for so long, I held myself. Hair and health has been my two passions. I fell in love with health in 6th grade, and you guys know I've been doing hair even younger than that. And so merging those two together, which if you guys click the subscribe button, you will learn so much more from me about how those two relate and why I love them together. That's what my life was like prior to baby, right? And still is like after baby, but I had to figure out a way to do things different. And so I was trying almost anything, right? I started selling shower caps and bonnets and products and a whole bunch of stuff to be like, okay, this could replace the income from when I was styling hair, right? And it did, and it was working well, but I flipped and switched it. My daughter had cradle cap. So I was like, okay, now it's time for me to solve a cradle cap issue. So now that became a focus. And so I stopped focusing on selling my bonnets and everything. And then there was a little thing online where someone had the same product. Like for me, I like to try to have my own unique stuff. I don't like to copy nobody. I don't like being like nobody. I never ever did. I'm not looking for spotlight. I'm not looking to stand out and be this person. Like, if I'm recognized, I'm grateful for it. Everybody say, you're so humble. You do so much. You should be like, yeah, but why? Like, thank you. I love the praise, but I don't need to be like that. I don't need to be arrogant. I don't need to feel like I'm better than anyone. I'm blessed with a gift that God has given me so that I can continue to serve others and bless them as well. And that has been my focus, right? And you'll see how I got off track and got back on track. But anywho, and that's what I was focused on. But when my daughter had an issue, I already said once I became a mom, it would be hard for me to do a lot of things because I want my focus to be on my daughter to make sure that she has everything she needs all the time. So when she had the cradle cap issue, I was like, all these years I've been doing here, and I think about it, I might date myself a bit, but like I said, I had the business for 11 years. But I started doing hair at 9. I have a child. You do the math. Anyway, over 25 years I've been doing hair, and I never did cradle cap or babies. So that was new and fascinating to me. Like, I like interesting things. I like to learn. So if it's something new, I'm going to research and figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. And so throughout my research and trying to figure it out, I came up with making products to just help her. But as I'm sharing my journey, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, my baby too. Like, what products you using? Like, can we have some?" And I'm like, "What?" Now, prior to, I was in process of making me a hairline for my clients who wore protective styles, right? Because a lot of times they do protective styles and they forget about their hair. Like, oh, well, it's in braids, it's fine. No, you need to clean your scalp still. You still need to treat it. You still need to make sure that it's not caked up dandruff or dirt or anything in these braids. And if it is, take it out. But if you are a person that want to leave it in a little bit longer than normal, I wanted to create the product to be able to still cleanse the scalp without having to do a full wash. So that was my little experiment, but I never got a chance to because I had the baby and she became kind of the priority. So anyway, I started to make products for everybody else, and we have Nairos Naturals. Again, the video is not about that, but I'm sharing that so you guys can just understand. So after that, that became the focus, right? So I just like had a couple of clients that was already grandfathered, and I've been doing their hair 5+ years or whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna keep y'all, but I don't want no new ones because I'm trying to build a product brand. And with me building a product brand, I realized how much stuff needed to go into that, right? So focus, attention, finances, strategy, marketing, a whole bunch of stuff that I really didn't know because I was oh, well, ain't nothing too hard for me. I like it. I'm going to hop on it. I'm going to do it, right? I was just always like willing to try. Like I was always like, fear is a liar. Like I wasn't scared of nothing. I would take a risk. I would do whatever it is. If it worked out, cool. If it didn't, cool too. Until, being a mom, right? I felt like everything needed to work, period. So if anybody said something or felt like they could contribute to my success, I was just running with it instead of really taking my time to really follow the person, watch the person, see how they are in their own life, what success they have so they could help me be successful. I didn't do that, and that's how I kind of got burnt, right? So either way, throughout my life, with everything I experienced, I always persevered. A lot of people like, yo, I like you. You just always just keep going. You just keep going. You keep persevering. No matter what happens to you, you just keep going. If people knew your story, they'd be like, wow, you still standing, right? So anywho, I just started doing that, right? I had some trouble with my daughter's father for a while. We're good now, but we were like this, right? When you become parents, there's certain ways one parent do stuff, another way the other parent want to do stuff, and we couldn't agree for a while. So that mentally started messing with me, and I couldn't really focus to build how I wanted to build. I was always just like focusing on the wrong things, if you will, because once I continue to tell you guys my story, you'll realize where you should put your attention to. And that was me prior to being a mom. But when I'm a mom, like I'm defending baby, like, nah, this is going down. You feel me? But anyway, the focus should never be on a ladder. It should always be on a positive, right? Always be on an up and up and not on what is not working. And I used to get so wrapped up on the negative, if I must be honest. And I started to see a lot of things in my life go away I didn't want it to go. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm just saying, like, I'm blaming it on the people and the relationships and everything. Now, they play a huge part. You got to watch the company you keep, but you also need to be true to you. So if you're meeting new people and they are full of drama and everything else, you don't engage in the drama. If you don't want drama, you want peace, you stick to I'm living a peaceful life. So I don't need to defend anything. If you strongly feel like this about that, then I'm gonna just let you feel like that and I'm gonna move on, because I live a peaceful life and that's very important to me. And that's how I'm moving forward from before today, but that's how I've been moving forward. But back then I was so caught up on trying to be right, trying to prove a point, going back and forth, done. And so with all of that, one of my friends introduced me to a women's group. So I went to the women's group. It was at a church, and I want to say it might have been 6 months or something like that. And so we would read the Bible, we would pray about a lot of stuff, forgiving, letting things go. It was kind of like therapy. God's way, like showing us, who are you and whose are you, right? For a while, the question was, who is Ashley? And I'm like, oh, my mom. No, who is Ashley? And, I attached myself to everything I was doing. And I didn't realize that that wasn't the right way. And so that's why the identity crisis came really hard at me when I became a mom, because I was like, I've always been a hairstylist, I've always been this, and I can't do these things like what I'm supposed to do. And you know what I mean? And it's like, no, that should never really be your identity, right? So I am God's favorite, right? I am the apple of his eye, right? So that's who I am. I am a child of God. That is my Father. He created me in his image, and his spirit is within me. And so if he was able to create, say, let there be light, let there be night and day, who am I supposed to be, right? I should be able to create just like God did as well, because I am made in his image and I am his daughter. And so those are the things that kind of went over my head a lot. And now I knew God gave me a gift. I went to church. I grew up in the church. I didn't read Bible, right? I did Bible study occasionally. I wasn't hooked on God like I should have been hooked on God. And a lot of it was I felt like I didn't really truly know him the way I should have. Like, it's kind of hard to believe in something or someone if you don't really know them. And so it was my duty when I hit rock bottom that I'm going to know who he is, what he says about me, my identity, my purpose. He's going to reveal everything to me, because I can't be in this space. I know I'm not supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to do great things. He put each and every one of us on this earth to do great things. And the only way that you can unlock that is getting right with him, being true to him. He is the CEO of my life now. Nobody else can tell me anything if God didn't say do it, right? And so I went through the women's group and everything. And my thing was, because my life was so chaotic, if you will, for lack of better words, and I didn't have like a stable family home, 2-parent home, I really wanted that. And I felt like I dropped the bomb because I didn't have that for my daughter, right? Me and her father didn't make it, unfortunately. And so I was really sad, depressed, ashamed, a whole bunch of words that I was feeling because I failed. And as much as I tried to do the right thing that I thought, it still didn't work out for me. And so I went to the women's group. I wanted to heal from that. I wanted us to have a great co-parenting relationship at least, and just really grow together and really, be great parents for my daughter. It was like, I don't have the family that I wanted. I'm not, married to anything like I wanted to be first. Let's get this co-parenting thing, because my daughter is priority. Forget my needs, right? God will bless me as he see fit. And so upon me exiting the program, I wound up getting engaged, and I really thought like, oh wow, that wasn't my focus, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Now there was some connection there with the guy being an entrepreneur like me and wanting to invest in my business, and I was okay with that. And so by us just conversing, and I felt like we had a lot of similarities, it was going to work out. It did not, and I'll tell you guys why. Um, like I mentioned to you, I wanted my business to work out so well. And then anybody said that they could help or do something, I was with it. I was like, oh, you my fiance and you gonna help me? This is perfect. Like we could be a power couple. Like, oh my God, like God, thank you so much. You really showed out, is what I thought. And so no, because it was very conditional, and I don't need to get into so many details. It was very conditional. It was a lot of abuse, a lot of manipulation, mental, financial, all of the above, unfortunately, and not some more severe than others. And that was a lot of because I idolized him, right? And what does that mean, right? God said, let go of your idols. You should have no idols, no other gods before me, right? And unfortunately, you could make people a god. I didn't know that. You can make food a god. You can make anything that you love more than God a god, lowercase g, right? And so I wanted a man so bad. I wanted a family so bad. I wanted my business to blow. I wanted all of these things so bad that sometimes when you say certain things out, remember the devil does things almost identical to God. But when you're in good standing and right with God, you will be able to spiritually see the difference. But if you are in sin or not really one with God, then you won't be able to distinguish between the two, which I have learned throughout me hitting rock bottom. And so that's how I was able to get caught up, right? So the devil heard all of the things that I wanted. So he sent somebody that I thought God had sent. And how I realized that God didn't send him, because there's fruits of the spirit, there's personality, there's characteristics, there's integrity. There's so many things about a person that you watch and see how they are, and you would be like, this cannot be God, right? Because God, if you know who God is, right, and how he operates and how he wants us to be, it will be in love. He always wants us to do things in love. He doesn't want us to be like, we need to love our neighbors, and we barely know most of our neighbors, right? We even need to we need to pray for our enemies, right? We forgive and let them go. We don't say be best friends again, but we should pray for them. We shouldn't fight back our enemies with what they're dishing out to us, right? Judging, that's not for us, that's for God. So a lot of stuff that I started to learn, like, where we stand and where God stands, we are not God. We are not even equal to God, right? He's above all things. And with him being above and at the top, anything else is a lie. Honestly, anything else is a lie. So I started to realize, like, wow, because even when it didn't work out, I still was like, dang, what did I do, right? I'm blaming me like that. Could I have been more of this or more of that? I know I literally stopped doing my entire business. Like, I lost almost everything. I stopped doing everything to please the man, right? Because that's what I wanted so much. I idolized it. That almost became before my child almost, but it's hard to not put my baby first. But even that, I could idolize my child. And I realized, like, dag, I'm so invested in everybody else but me. Where did I go wrong? Like, how am I, so caught up on all of the things that's not really me, right? So what do I have left for myself, right? How can I, like, what is my identity anymore? Like, I started to lose myself really, really, really bad, right? And so, like, I didn't even know, I couldn't even think. I didn't know, I was forgetting stuff, leaving the car door open, forgetting stuff, going in the store, car wide open. People like, miss, I'm like, wow. Like, my mind was so gone. It was, I just couldn't put up with it no more. Like, you have to watch the company you keep. You have to watch who you connect yourself with. You have to watch who you say yes to. Like, I'm so glad I didn't get married. I was engaged, which is very close. And, even in my engagement, I still should have waited on a lot of things, right? That only call for marriage. If you guys know, then you know, right? Because sometimes you connect yourself with someone in such a way that it's kind of hard to disconnect. And I'm not saying leave and separate yourself. I'm saying even after. There's a lot of ways, habits, a whole bunch of stuff that you pick up from a person once you almost become glued to them. So that's why God loves marriage, and he made it so sacred, because of the connection that it gives you with someone else. And so I still didn't, even going through the whole women's group and all the stuff that I learned and everything that I did and all the assignments I completed, I didn't understand that part. It wasn't said to me the way it should have been said to me. So I still wasn't fully all in with God like I thought I was, because a lot of things that happened to me wouldn't have if I was. So, I wound up having to leave that situation, and me and baby girl, thank God, is all, I'm giving all of the glory to him, because without him, I don't know. Because for a while, I thought I was stuck. I thought I couldn't leave. I thought I couldn't do a lot of stuff. I thought I would never become me again. I didn't think that I would smile, be happy, or anything for a while, because I was so caught up in, like, listening to everything and everyone else tell me everything. It became to the point that I couldn't even think for myself. Every time I had to make a decision, I was calling somebody, asking somebody, like, what you think I should do? Like, should I do this? I paid into so much people's programs and masterminds and everything, just like, all right, this gotta work, all right, this gonna work. And it wouldn't work. Why wouldn't it work? Because I'm trying to do everything else that's for everybody else. It's not for me. So no matter what, you could give me an idea. You could tell me that certain things would go like this. But if I'm trying to copy your exact style of how you're doing your business and things like that, and not applying it the way that it can for me, it couldn't work. Or I'll say, mentally, if I'm not there, it don't matter who I'm paying to do what, or what tricks, tips, techniques, strategies they show or share with me. Mentally, I can't execute the way I need to, because I'm done. I don't have an identity at this point. I'm just going with the flows, the ebbs and flows of life and business and motherhood and all the titles I held. I'm just I felt like a walking zombie for many months until I had to leave, right? And even when I left, I still didn't feel like me. You know how you just like, dang, I wouldn't say or do this. I wouldn't even wear that. Like, I wouldn't look like, it was just like, yo, who is this person? Like, how did we get here? I literally used to say, how did we get here? Like, how did we get here? And so even in this rock bottom part of situation that I was in, I started to really reflect on my entire life. Like, sat back and did a whole personal reflection, not only on myself, but a reflection on my family as well, right? Are there any patterns? Like, I had to call my mom, like, hey, mom, like, when you had me, like, what was going on? What happened? Like, X, Y, and Z. And she's like, oh, this did, that didn't. I chose this, I chose that. Things just happen. I don't think things just happen. And why I say that is because when I started to see the patterns, every time I got with a guy, my business plummeted. Every time I got with a guy, I lost motivation. Every time I got with a guy, I didn't know who I was. Every time I got with a guy, I praised him more than myself. Like, he was the prize. Like, every time I got with a guy, because I wanted the family and the man so bad, I neglected my own self, my own desires. The stuff that I worked so hard to build, I neglected it because I wanted that so much more. What I've come to learn in this place of being at rock bottom, in this place of seeking God, in this place of reading my Bible, fasting, praying, that I will never, ever allow any man, any person, anyone, anything, any desire come before God. Come before who God says I am. Come before what calling God has on my life. Come before anything that God has already ordained for me, because he knew me before I was in a womb, which means he already knows the plans for my life. Jeremiah 29:11, people. He already knows the plans for my life. I cannot activate those plans unless I'm in one with God. Living in sin is not going to activate the plans. Poverty, right? Job loss, instability, lack of marriage, right? Not being married, failed relationships, miscarriages, barren, a whole bunch of stuff we think is just a thing. It's not. You need to get right with God. You need to really get right with God, first and foremost, especially in year 2025. If you have not already, or you need to give your life to God. And in this short period of time, probably been 3 or 4 months, 6 months, I've been out of my situation. A good For 3 to 4 months, I've been committed to God, His word, His teaching, fasting, praying, everything He said about who I am, the things that He gifted me with, doing a full reflection on my entire life from childhood up until adulthood, seeing the patterns of how whatever I idolized, that's why they fell. You know what I mean? Things didn't work out. That's why I almost got right here, and then a man come in my life. Almost at the pinnacle of success, and a man comes in my life. And then what happens? Gone. Right? More than one occasion. Before baby, after baby. I started YouTube 7 years ago. When I thought about the reflection in my life, I got back with my college sweetheart. How long did YouTube last after that? I'm just saying, right? So then after that, I'm killing it in the hair game. I'm in Hype Hair Magazine. I'm doing fashion models here, New York Fashion Week, all these fashion weeks. I meet my daughter's father. I haven't been doing that in a while. Any fashion weeks. All right? Now I get the product line. I'm on Amazon. I'm in beauty supply stores, all of these things. I get engaged. I haven't sold in, I'm selling, but it ain't how I was selling before all of that. Stuff started to go down, right? I relocated. So now my clients that I had, I have to rebuild that. Starting over, I relocated almost all those times. Starting over. How can you build something moving around? How can you build something being so unstable? How can you thrive and be well? How could you even have influence on anybody when you can't stay still and stay committed and be disciplined? And so one of my friends was like, girl, just stick to one thing and be disciplined. And I said in my head, can I do that? I really didn't think I can do that. My whole entire life, as you guys heard, was always moving around from place to place, in and out of foster care, in and out of shelter, evicted, moving around. It was always that. That was so normal for me. I started getting itches like, all right, it's time for me to move again. I didn't think I could be consistent. I didn't think I could be disciplined. Now I have the hair thing been going really good, but it's not because I moved again. I could start it over again. I know how to move and groove. Everybody always need their hair. That is a great craft to be in, friends, if you're thinking about it. Write in the comment box below. But anywhere you go, you can blow that up because people always need their hair done. So I was just like, oh, well, I know I can rebuild. That was me. But now, when you're talking about now I have my own family. I came from instability, right? I want stability. I can't do the same things that's been familiar, that's been on my bloodline, that's been the things that we think is normal. My mom been by herself, well, I don't need a, no. I was saying that to myself at one time, like, well, shoot, I don't need nobody. Nope. I always desire to have a family. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to be happily married. I'm going to have a beautiful home that serves the Lord. We are going to be on one accord together. We are going to be very respectful of one another, have great communication, okay? My daughter's going to be raised in a very great home, full of peace. You hear me? Because that's what I want. I'm not going to dumb it down because my normal has not been that. My whole bloodline, right? I'm doing this like blood. I don't know, friends. But, I'm not going to let that be normalized because it's been in the family for, no, it's not. It's not going to be my story. If I have to be the one to change it, I'm changing it. It's changed. It's already done. I'm going to get everything my heart desires because if you look in the Bible, you be in one with God. That's what He said. He will give you what your heart desires as long as you follow His commandments, as long as you keep His word, as long as you live according to His word. And so that I will do to get the desires of my heart and to get His promises for me because we already know this. He already created my life. I want what God has for me and nothing else. What God has for me and nothing else. Will I take opinions and stuff if I feel like it resonates? Sure. I'm going to pray about it. God, what you think? She said, he said, they think. What do you think? Let me know if I should go this route. Give me a sign. Period. If ain't no sign coming, it ain't happening, Captain. Because listening, you can't listen. When you got all of this going on, how are you going to be your best self? You can't. I had to shut everything and everyone down. All family and friends cut off. Social media off. Done. You know how hard that was for me? I was on social media since 2000, since I started hair venting. Because it's always kind of been like a hair thing for me. It's been like a business thing. You know, catch up with some college friends and things like that. I like that as well. But for the most part, it's been like a business thing for me. You know, my baby was born. I started showing her. She's so cute. But now I'm going to go about things a little different with that as well. Because everybody don't want the best for you. Now, for me, I used to be like everybody's friend. I used to feel certain things for certain people, like, I don't know, something a little weird, but you know, who am I to judge, right? I would just continue to watch character. And that's how I'm even moving in this season of my life. Watching character more than anything. And I used to not really have boundaries, if I must be honest. I had my innocence taken away from me at such a young age. And so with that, I didn't really feel like everything was just sure, you know, like I just went with the flow. Not no more. I got boundaries. If you ain't doing this, that, and the third, or if I don't agree with this, that, and the third, I'm not doing it, period. You could hang with me. You don't have to. I'm fine. Like I used to want to be everybody's friend and show up for everybody's stuff. And I started to sit back in this time when I was getting closer to God, figuring what I want to do, you know, recovering from this situation. And I realized I showed out for a lot of people that didn't for me. And I'm not saying that I've done it and I'm expecting it in return. But when you got things that you're trying to do and trying to build and you know, you don't get time back. So I set time out to go be there and show up and do all of these things, and it's not being returned. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to see how much people show up for me now. And if they're not, cool. If I want to show up, I will. If I don't, I won't. But I used to break my neck to show up, even though it inconvenienced me. And I realize everybody doesn't do that. And I'm only speaking on that about boundaries, right? So if I can't pick up the phone with some people, cool, I'm not picking it up. I used to be, oh, I'm in the middle of a paper, let me pick up. No, let me finish me first. I had to practice that. It was hard. Let me finish me first, and then I could call you back, or then we could chat later, or now I got a minute. Because before I wasn't even doing that. And so I'm just doing things a lot differently now. I'm not oversharing. Everything used to be an issue. Oh my gosh, I was in so much toxicity and thought it was other people. I was engaging in it. Because I was so toxic, I was attracted toxic. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You always, next thing you know, you got to do, he look all cute. Next thing you know, y'all at each other's necks. How was that? If you continue to live in toxicity, that's what's going to come your way, unfortunately. And so I choose a lot. I choose peace. I choose love. I choose kindness. I choose honesty. I choose authenticity. You know, I'm choosing these things in my life. I'm choosing boundaries. If I can make it, I will. If I can't, I can't. I'm not over promising anything. You know, I am being authentically me. I used to not want to post a pic because I felt like people saw it already. Or I didn't want to say certain things that I felt like people have opinion. Have your opinions. Everybody's entitled to them. I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me, and that's fine, right? For a while, I didn't like that. I was like, no, they're supposed to agree with me, period. No, they are entitled to disagree with you, Ash. So allow them to have that place, just like you have it as well. And so that's how I'm choosing to live my life, right? During this time, I had to let go of my old identity, or unlearn a lot of things I thought I knew about myself, or I thought I knew to be true to operate and be in, like people pleasing, right? Like fitting in. And as much as I wanted to be unique and I didn't like copying people, I felt like I was a huge people pleaser. I ain't want people to say no. I ain't want to do, because I don't like drama. I'm just like, sure, no more. Sorry, if I disagree, I disagree. If it's going to be drama, cool. If I got to stay, I don't have to stay in the drama, though. That's just fine. I don't have to. But I also am entitled to my opinion and my thoughts about whatever it is versus just going with the flow. So I had to unlearn a lot of stuff. There was many nights that I cried. There was many dreams that I've had. I had to let go. I had to forgive things that I thought I had forgiven already. Even to this day, every day, I'm like, I forgive. How do you forgive? You pray about it. You say, God, I release this person to the freedom of my forgiveness. You can fast to forgive, and you can also, I forgive. You say everything that you forgive about the person, the situation, what they may have done or not done to you, and you forgive yourself. I realized I haven't forgiven myself for a lot. Like I had mom guilt, like how I have my daughter out of wedlock. She is two popping and I have a two-parent household. Like I had that guilt really bad, right? Like how did you come out here and get here? How? How did you get here? When you're trying to do everything so right, so perfect, you got here. You know, I had to forgive myself for that. I had to forgive myself for choosing the wrong fiance. I had to forgive myself for not being all in with God. I had to forgive myself for not forgiving myself. I had to forgive my parents for the lifestyle that I had. You know, when I felt like it didn't, I never quarreled with them about it. We talked about it, got over it. Things happen. People fall into stuff. They're clean. They're fine now. That's great. I had to forgive. Even if I felt like I forgave a person, I re-forgave them in this time. I re-forgave. I got jumped by one of my best friends in high school, and I felt like I forgave her. I still put her in that part of forgiving again. You know, we're not best friends now, but she was my best friend at the time, and she jumped me, and I was feeling a way about it. But I forgave. Another friend smearing my name all through the streets and all this. I'm so horrible. I forgave. It was hard for me. I used to hold on to stuff. When I say hold on, like people be like, I'll be like, you couldn't open my fists. I will hold so tight. And I realized, do you understand that can bring infirmity and disease over your body? Unforgiveness. It makes you age faster. It makes you unhealthy. It's hard. Like, it was hard for me to smile, crack jokes all the time. Like, I would just be angry. Like, you could check out my Instagram here, Ventions, YouTube, Facebook, you wouldn't tell. But it was angry deep down inside. I didn't understand because I had so much unforgiveness in me. Why am I sitting here not forgiving somebody who's living their best life? They ain't worrying about me. They done did what they did, living their best life. And even if they aren't, I'm holding on to it. It's not hurting them. But I thought that if I held this grudge, they would feel it. How? Like, I'm so happy that God delivered me from all of the things he delivered me from. OMG. Oh my goodness, right? Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful. I'm thankful for his grace and his mercy over my life, because I don't know what could have happened to me had I held on to this unforgiveness, right? And so I release everybody into the freedom of my forgiveness, because most of the time it could have been me, right? Even my last situation, my last engagement could have been me. I could have triggered something. I could have did stuff. I was in a place where I thought I was free. I thought I was healed. I was all of these things. And I still had I still had a lot of stuff that was unclean within myself. So I'm going to attract that, right? And I'm not saying that he was horrible, because he wasn't. He blessed me and my child in so many ways, right? And no one is perfect. And I'm not saying someone should be. But there was a lot of other things that were just like, whoa, I can't. I know I can't live like this. I know I can't thrive in this environment. I know that I have a higher calling than being right here. And if you're not for it, then we can't be together, because the support needs to be there, right? And that's just how I feel. If you feel like you could be with somebody that doesn't support whatever you do, that's different. I've been on both ends, and nope. Nobody nope. So again, I want peace and I want happiness, but sometimes you don't overshare, you don't share too much, because you never know who's trying to work against you. And unfortunately, people are out here doing those things. So you stay prayed up. You stay believing in God. You stay doing the right thing no matter what. He's always watching, Repent for the sins that you may have committed, knowingly or unknowingly. Ask God for his forgiveness. And you have to forgive others, because he only forgives you to the extent that you forgive others. And once I knew that, I forgave everything, everybody. Even if I say it every single day, even if I feel like I forgave them and it's out of my system, I'm forgiving you again, right? We're cool. There's no beef. That doesn't mean that you be my best friend again. That doesn't mean that we he in on the phone. That doesn't mean that. That means that I'm free from it. That means if I see you again, I'm not feeling sick to my stomach or I can't function because you're in my presence. And no, I don't even want to hold on to any of it. I'm letting it go. We had a great time together when we was friends, cool, whatever. And that time has passed, and now we're moving on, and that's fine, right? If I see you, hey, how you doing? God bless you. I hope everything's going well. Keep it moving. So anyway, that's how I'm feeling, and I'm so grateful that I let go of the people pleasing, that I forgave who I needed to forgive. I'm not holding on to anything that hurt me or anything like that. If you are called, and you know what I mean, if God has an assignment over your life, you can't get wrapped up in the emotions. Throw them out, because people gonna say what they want to say. They're gonna have their opinions about certain stuff. You know, I feel how I feel. If you ask other people that were involved with me, they may have another story. Hey, right? And so everybody, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. But for me, I'm glad that I unlearned a lot of things that I needed to unlearn. I let go of that old identity that I was holding on to. You know, it even got to the point, like, you know, you see these plaques behind me, right? I was doing very well, and almost everything that I ever do, I try to do exceedingly well, right? And so I have my degrees and things back there, and I'm like I should be working here, making this amount of money, and have this title by now, and all of this. Like, I was so caught up on all of the things. And again, I'm humble, so I'm not flashy caught up, but I'm caught up in it because I'm like, I work hard, you know, I deserve this, I should have this, I should have that. And I was treating myself and getting all these things, but I'm like, I went to school, I did the right thing, I got the degrees, and blah blah blah. And we see, if you know what I mean, what that means. Really nothing. I'm thankful that I was able to go to college, build the friendships that I built, gain the knowledge that I've gained, but that's not the end all be all, and I don't ever want to tie myself to anything like that. You know what I mean? Is something that I did to get me to where I am, to build me up to who I am and the things that I can do for the world. And so I'm grateful for that. So trying to be wrapped up on where I feel I should be and all of these things. God got me where I'm supposed to be, and he's going to put me, and I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be and get the things that I'm supposed to have, as long as I stay in good standing with the Lord. Not lukewarm, not sometimey, not half. You guys know the rest. But when I'm in good standing with him, he's going to give me everything I need, and I needed to know that. You know, I needed to really feel that and believe that. I heard it. I always heard a lot of stuff, right? But for myself, I know there's a God, you know, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. I've experienced him myself. Nobody could change my mind about him being real. Nobody. The things that he can do for me, the things that he can just, the way he could turn things around, nobody can tell me about my God. Nobody can tell me. Nobody can change my mind about him either, because I experienced him. He allowed me to experience him, his protection, his love, all the things that he is outside of what he could do, just who he is. Nobody can change my mind about that. That's a whole nother video. He just started working things out for me. He started working things out for me that I didn't even know could be worked out. As long as I took one step, he took 5. And that's the truth. He was telling me, you got to leave this relationship if you want to go where I'm trying to put you. He was saying it. I was staying all these months. I kept staying. You got to leave. You got to leave if you want to go where I'm trying to put you. As soon as I left, boom. I took one step. He put 10. You know, so outside of him always making a way and working things out. And I used to hear people be like, this is my testimony. I was waiting for this check to come in the mail, and I don't know how I was going to. And I was like, these people be making up. Nope. Them testimonies are not made up. When people say that God made a way out of no way and he blessed them and did all of these things, oh my God, I experienced it. Oh, I'm sorry to even say his name in vain, but I experienced it. I experienced these testimonies that these people been saying. And I'm so grateful and humbled. Sorry, I had to take a minute because this is about to make me emotional. But anyway, he's great. He's great. So anyway, I was fighting so hard to be like, how did I get here? Where did I go wrong? I went to school. I got engaged. I repent for having a baby. I forgave all these people. I did all of these things. Like, how did I get here? Like, unhappy, not knowing who I am, not knowing what to do and all these things. I used to pray all the time, God, please just reveal to me. Just show me. Just reveal. Just show me. Just show me. And he showed me, so you started idolizing people before you. idolize this one, you idolize that one. You started again asking for too many opinions. You had too much people trying to tell you what to do and how to do it. You lost the focus that I gave you. You shied away from me by focusing on them. And when you did that, that brings confusion. And that's why you're confused. That's why you don't have your own identity. That's why you can't figure out which way to go or how to rebuild or get back to the things that you were doing, you were thriving in. Because you started putting other things before me. And that's not how this works. And once he said that, that's why the social media was, all this stuff was going. I was seeking, I was fasting, I was praying, and he revealed to me. He said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go on YouTube and tell your story. And I'm like, wait a minute. Go on YouTube, tell my story. It's going to bless someone. I need you to do it. He's been telling me this for months. I'm just on here now, guys. Hi. I'm being obedient, finally, right? He wanted me to share it. And I'm not even in details. I'm just touching the surface so you guys just get a taste. And if you ever wanted stuff to be in detail, we definitely can get there. Sorry, a call came through. He started to remind me of who he created me to be. Remember when you was a little girl? I started doing children's hair when I was a child. As my business grew, I started doing parents and adults and everything else. But children has always been my heart because what happened to me and why I even started to learn how to do it. Because my mom couldn't. And I didn't want to be teased or my sisters anymore. And so I didn't want other kids to be teased either. So anytime I see a kid's hair not done, I just want to do their hair like discount free or something. Because I feel like all children should just, that should at least be done for them, you know. And so once he brought everything full circle, he revealed to me the things that I idolized. He revealed to me the things I put before him. He revealed the things to me that took me away from my calling. You know, the things that I was doing that just basically took me off track. So when you're in alignment with God, he's ordering your steps and he's directing you on where you should be going. Once you go like this, it's a wrap. He's not directing your steps no more. He's not ordering what you should be doing and where you should be going because you wanted to go take a detour. So now you done detoured. He has your husband already assigned for you, your wife already assigned, that career, the abundance, the prosperity, everything already assigned for you as long as you in one with him. The minute you go off, you done messed up your assignment. You done missed your husband. You done missed your wife. Now you're calling. You're not sure on what it is. You're hating your jobs. You're sitting in these jobs. You're sitting here. This can't be what I'm supposed to do in this cubicle. Yeah, because you wanted to go and do your own thing against God's will for your life. So what you thought was going to happen? And that was me. I try to always take control and do things the way I thought was right because of my past and my upbringing. I didn't want to be evicted. I didn't want to be in poverty. I didn't want to not have. I don't want to tell my daughter no. She need to get what she can get that I feel that she needs. Okay, I'm not saying I'm getting her everything, but I didn't want to do none of those things. So I got to be in control. I got to do this. I got to apply. I got to this. I got to that. I got to jump on this. I got to do Airbnb. I got to do all of these things because we always got to have. When I'm following God's will for my life, I will be abundant. I will be prosperous. I will be happy. I will have everything I need. Why? Because he supplies all my needs. He is the money maker. He has all of the money. You guys think the job, that's God. God put you up in that job so you can have that income to support your family. He does it all. And it took me a while to get that, unfortunately, but I'm so glad that I got it now. Better now than never, okay? So anyway, I hope my story blessed you in any type of way. You can write in the comments below. You could click the subscribe button. You can also share, like and share. You never know who this story can bless. You never know who the story can bless. If you can relate in any way, if you feel like you lost your identity from becoming a mom, because that was me, right? Then you lost your identity for becoming a wife or a fiance or getting into a relationship and trying to balance, right? And you've just been trying to seek out things, that you used to do, that you may not even like doing anymore, right? If you felt like you don't know who you are at all, or what you doing, or why you even here, or if you never ever found your purpose and you looking for that, get in right standing with God. Because that was me. I was so confused that I just cut everything. I just stopped everything. Like, orders came through, of course I'm feeling them, but I just really was just like, no social media, no nothing. I'm just taking a step back, and I really need to basically rewind. Like, I was to pray to God, change my identity, bring me back to the identity you had when I was born. For me, bring me back to the identity you had for me when I was born. Let's go back to, I'm your child, I'm your daughter. Dad, please bring me back. Father, thank you for who you are. Bring me back to the identity you had for my life from when I was born. All the things that you had lined up for me when I was conceived, please bring those back into my life. I want to be what you want me to be. Not what I'm seeing other people to see me to be. Not what I feel I should be. Not what I'm listening to everybody else to allow me to be. I want what you want me to be. And he never once said, oh, everything that you was doing was wrong. Everything you was doing was right. But when you get everybody else involved and you're not listening to me so I can tell you your next steps on how to keep it going, then it becomes that. Then you lose the reason why you was even doing it. I also became like, oh, I need money. I need. I need to be a millionaire by now. I need to this. I need everybody else turn into a millionaire. I ain't gonna lie, I was like that. And he also revealed that to me too. When I started doing it, I didn't care about the money. I was charging $50, being there 3 hours. I didn't care. I wanted to let everybody look beautiful. That was my goal. What value can I give to the people, to the masses? How can I serve you? The money will come later. I was not money hungry until I was on social media and I got wrapped up in this and wrapped up in that, and my momentum was hitting and I was building this and making that and doing that, getting recognized. I got so caught up. And so stay humble. God is going to bless me abundantly more than I can even imagine, because he's already started doing it. He can bless you the same way. Stay humble. That's what he taught me. To stay humble, not to big up, not to be better than, not to this, not to that. And I didn't have to say it out loud. That don't mean I ain't feel it. That don't mean I wasn't thinking it. Stay humble. Give God the glory. Don't take his glory. Don't say, oh, when people I'm self-made millionaire. God wasn't involved. You sure? Because he's the creator of this earth and the creator of all things. If you got what you got, I'm sure God did. Don't ever not recognize God in everything that you are doing. He brought me out of everything I ever experienced, okay? Me standing here today is God. I persevere because God put it in me to do so. All of this is God. I'm not taking no credit. I'm just the person. God did all of this, and I'm so grateful and thankful for him. He saved me from a lot of situations, a lot of things, a lot of places, a lot of stuff that just was not for me, that was against who he wanted me to be. He saved me. And I'm sitting here in front of this today being obedient because I don't like this part. Saying these things that, I had to learn, and, who I was, and, I was wrapped up in all of the stuff. Okay, friends? I like the drinking. I like to being with the guys, and hanging with the girls, and going on the trips and doing all these things. I was doing it all. I love to have fun, and I love to do my business too. But how can you really do both? And what I mean by that, not saying that you can't do both, but when you're really trying to build the right way, and you got this is a drinking, partying, all of that's distractions. Any way that you put it, oh, it's fun. You can have that opinion to say that. That's good. I'm glad you feel that way. That's fine. For me, I've been on both ends. It's every time I got wrapped up in this business, okay? Every time I started putting all this first and being all wrapped up, and it came with drama, it came with all of this stuff. It took me away from who I am supposed to be here on earth. These things anyway is worldly. God didn't put it here for us to indulge and focus on and make it a God and need. No, that's not why he put it here. We are here to do a purpose for God until He calls us home, and I want Him to say, "Well done." I want to make Him proud. I want Him to tell me, "Well done." And if I keep letting distractions, drama, drink, and all of this stuff take away my focus from me, my purpose, and my calling, I can't get there. No one should be in poverty. No one should be struggling. Everybody should be living an abundant life if they follow the rule book. According to Pastor Kevin L.A. Hewing, shout out to him because he calls the Bible the rule book. It is. It is the rule book. By my studying, which I felt like I was dibbling and dabbing. I was one of those lukewarm Christians, dibbling and dabbling. Thank you, God, praying over my food, praying before bed. When I wake up in the morning, that was it. That's all God got for me. Horrible. Now I'm all up in His word. Okay, I'm excited to read His word. I'm excited to learn more about who He is and what He says about how we should live our life. Everything that we need to do in our life is in the Bible. Look up entrepreneurship, is in the Bible. Business, motherhood, marriage, eating well, fitness, health. Everything that we should be doing in our lives is in the rule book. Finances, debt, income, assets, everything is in the Bible. Here I am asking all these people, not saying that you can't find the gurus, because there's gurus that could just put it together a little better or a little different, and still, like I said, I pray about the information I find or that I want to use in my life. But the Bible is a rule book. It can definitely give you guidance on how you should do things that you want to do in your life. And I'm excited that I learned this now. And me and my daughter, we read together, we pray, we worship Him every single day. We got our playlist, okay, of the gospel, and I love it. And so I think this has been a long enough video. But anyway, if you guys want details or anything like that, put it in the comment box below. I don't mind sharing. But I felt like this would be a great icebreaker for me coming back on to YouTube. And so I think this will be a part, I'm going to post videos. I don't want to overcommit, but I'm aiming for 2 videos a week, just to break the ice so you guys can know who I am, as I gave you my little background. I'm from Harlem, New York. I think I left that out. I'm now residing in Pennsylvania. And so, yeah, that's where I am. And I moved around and did some things. And I'm excited to be back. Okay, I'm excited to be back with my calling to who I am, making my own decisions that I feel are right with God and not everybody else, or to please everybody. I'm done with it. And I'm so happy to be here. And I had to hit rock bottom for God to get me to this place. He's been calling at me my whole life. Okay, there's situations, like I said, I did a full reflection on my life, my family life, and my bloodline life, and I'm just like, wow, nope, I'm changing it. This stuff is too much of a pattern. But also, there's so many situations I could look back on where He was calling me out of, and He was trying to get me to do, and He started me up, and I went astray, Not this time. I'm committed. I am making a commitment to be obedient to God's call. And if you want me on YouTube and sharing my story and different tips and tricks and everything, this is for moms, parents, okay, entrepreneurs, workers, all right? Anybody looking to be an entrepreneur, being in business, whatever you are, whoever you are. This is for you, this video, and I hope it blessed you in some sort of way, and that you were able to understand that sometimes things aren't always going to go your way. Sometimes your way isn't always the right way. Sometimes you might have to take a step back from that thing that you thought was all for you and that you thought was your life, in order to really step into the true calling for your life. And sometimes it is for your life, but sometimes you got to get certain people and things out of the way. You got to change environments, change your circle to get back on track with that thing that God put into your life, with the calling, with the purpose that God has for your life. So I thank you guys for staying on this long, for listening to my testimony. because I know more is to come. More is to come. He done woke me up. He done, look, I'm a whole new, brand new package. I got a new bow on me, okay? Um, and he brought me back. He got me out of all of that. And he's bringing me back into my own authenticity. And I'm grateful, and I know I can bless so many people by just being me. And I'm here to do it, and I'm ready to do it. So anyway, click the subscribe button to hear some more good stuff from me, from your girl Ash. And I will see you guys soon.